Somebody was letting go and I can't have my way.
Hi guys, welcome back to another podcast. I'm your host Jeremy Chapman. I'm here today with these two numbskulls.
Jeremy, got your
I've
van
never
fixed yet?
seen a train wreck before it even started. Like literally, how can a train wreck when it's not even moving?
I've been practicing my hosting skills. Welcome back
You
to
did not
another
practice them very
podcast.
very well.
Here are my guests.
Jeremy just fell
Please
down.
introduce. Wouldn't that be great
Fell
if you
down
don't?
standing still.
I like the podcast. Or
He fell down sitting.
I like
He
the
just fell down
interviews.
from a laying
You guys
position.
shush. I am the host. I like interviews where they don't know the person, so they just go, "Could you introduce yourself to the folks?"
That's how I do it all the time. Whenever I'm walking up to, could you, you want to introduce to my friend over here? I don't remember your name.
It says here that you are a musician.
You know more about you than I do, so why don't you tell the people who you are and why you're on my show?
That's pretty much every interview we were ever asked to do. Whoever was hosting that interview was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna waste the time even studying." And these
No
guys
background.
are.
They call that background in
These
the
guys
industry.
are here because they knew somebody at the station.
Can we start over? And
No,
by
we
that I
cannot.
mean go back 40 years when I first met you, and give me to a different family.
Oh my God, that's awful. Anyway, Jeremy, I did want to ask you: have you got your van fixed yet?
No, John, it is still broken. And
Assuming that these go out in chronological order,
Of
Jeremy's van was
do, of
crushed by a
course.
tree.
it could have been worse. I've been driving around seeing houses that have trees on them
Yes.
and cars, and
Last week,
People-
on Acoustic Hop knows people.
It was
Jeremy's
like-
car was crushed by a tree,
it was like a hurricane, a Missouri hurricane. I don't know if
and
that's
Jason
possible.
laughed.
You're mean.
He is me.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to the show.
It was crazy.
Today on the show,
There's still cleanup.
we're going to be meeting with a
All
special
right,
guest.
NPR. Good Lord.
I just lost our government funding.
Yeah, you did.
No.
Anyway,
You just dodged that bullet. Get it?
I did get that, Jay.
Are you looking at yourself on the
Genius.
screen? People at home are watching this
Yeah.
and wondering, who's
Look at the
looking
camera.
I don't
Thanks.
look at that.
Hi.
Hi.
Anyway, everything else is going well.
Everything is going
Second
well.
day.
We're coming out. It is camping season. It's hot. I got to say, hey, you guys, I have to say, I have become the dad. Vicky was making fun of me last night. I went out. It was in my loungy pants, half pajamas, and I wanted to inspect my yard and see if I could find any weeds throughout
Shayla
it.
made fun of me. Like
I've
my
become
kids,
that guy.
my kids' friends have a really nice neighborhood, so that for Halloween we've gone out with them. And I'm sitting here admiring the lawns. I'm like, look at that lawn; it's so thick. And she
I
she
spent
had to
6
bring
years
it.
on it.
I told her that in confidence that I was looking at this, and she had to tell everybody. Jeremy's over here being an old man observing the lawns, and then the dad
See,
said, "This is a nice
It's
lawn."
lost on me because I spent 6 years as a landscaper, and
You don't
lawns
care?
just give me anxiety.
Really? I have become
I just
obsessed.
imagine
every
walking
week.
barefoot in a nice one.
I was
I have
good. I
become
used to
obsessed.
edge those things really well. And,
I got
oh, man.
I learned the skill of edging. I watched lots of
I used to
YouTube
be able to
videos.
stripe.
I took my guard off so that I could get my links right on this.
I guess it is something that's
I
sad
am
to
spinning.
admit. There's some of my TikToks are using sand to level out your lawn, and you pour the sand
yeah.
there, and then you got this
Really
thing you
great.
drag. And
That only
eventually-
works with certain Bermuda. You
gotta
have to
go
go
to Bermuda grass, yeah.
Florida.
I've been absolutely nerding. I gotta say, I go through my neighborhood. It's a new house, so it was a lot easier because I don't think I could have. I did create a backyard. It's better than it was. My side is okay. My front yard, it's
It
looking
helps
so
to start
good.
with a good lawn. Mine
it
is.
did.
Mine's
When
got
you
a
were
lot of
saying you
love
went
and
out in your
care.
Landry pants, I thought you were going down a different road, and I was going to go down that. What point did I give up caring? Because I went to
12.
Eli's. Yeah, probably. I went to Eli's practice last night, baseball, and I realized as I'm driving there, I looked down and I have food stains, and I'm wearing these shorts.
Are they your food stains?
Yes.
Or the kids?
Yeah, they're mine. Unfortunately, I mean, I told myself they were my kids, but I was wearing these pants that I'd worn when I remodeled my bathroom. And they had all kinds of paint and primer and all kinds of stuff on them, and it's just I was just sitting there going, "Oh God, I've already given up."
I did that. My wife, I was wearing my lounge and making fun of
It was
that.
laundry day, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm out there.
my
She
excuse.
says you're in there in your long socks and your lounge pants, and you're standing
Long
out there.
socks and shorts.
Well, this was at least loungy pants. And then as I'm doing it, she comes back because they came from the pool, and they look at me, and then the car starts zooming down the road and was doing it, and I start yelling at it. So she's like, she said,
I do yell
I
at cars when
officially,
they drive too fast down my street.
I officially
What the hell's wrong with you?
transformed into the guy
I was talking about this.
in his lounge pants, long socks, yelling
Something
at
I've
cars.
always wanted to do, and I know I can't do it because somebody will get in a car accident and I'll be the one going to jail. But when they go zoom down the street, I want to have like one of those crash test baby, child dummies. And I'm not hiding behind a car, and when I see it coming, I just throw it right out in front of the car, and they just scream, "Ah, my baby! Ah, how could you?" They would never speed down a street again.
And that is why arrested development. No, I have literally run out toward a car when they were racing through I went in front of my truck and I jumped out toward them and got within a couple feet of them and yelled at them. And
Oh, man.
they just
Yeah.
looked at me like, "What's wrong with you, old man?"
We have officially hit that status.
Is this what this podcast is,
Yes.
guys? I think we've used up all the guest time.
It's called
Thank you
therapy,
for
damn it! I
tuning
can't afford it otherwise.
for another episode of the Acoustic Shop. Vince.
So who do we know, guys?
Well, today we're going to be talking to Darrin Vincent. I love Darrin Vincent. And it's so funny because it has been an interesting relationship. I learned so much. We learned so much from him. And it has been, of all people who understand our relationship, or the three of us together, Darrin understands
What you're allowed to do
absolutely
with brothers
the same.
as far as communicating. He knows there's a level that you can go above a standard relationship with other people where you can say things that most people wouldn't let you get away with. But
And we understood it from the beginning. Well, it took a second to get it because we had never done. For those who don't know, the three of us are very creative people, and we have our ideas of what we want to do, and we've always been able to just talk it and just brutally tell each other what we want to do. And when other people outside of our system see it, they all just lose their minds and don't understand it. Darrin was the opposite. Darrin came in and he just was exactly the same way. It was no holds barred. You say exactly how you feel about things. And to create, like he says, we created better music because of it. And that was really, to me, I still to this day find that to be one of the greatest relationships that we have because we can talk that way.
I think, and I don't think it's just that he recognized he could do that with us. I remember when we told Skaggs that Darrin was going to produce the album, he said, wear a shield over your heart.
Yeah, guard your heart.
Because he's brutal.
But we got it, and yes, there were always hurt feelings in spots, but you get over it, and that's what we always do. We always attack each other, and we get it. Darrin is a genius. He really is. He understands things. We don't always agree. Me and you and Jason don't always agree, but we always can come to a.
That's what you want in a
final-
good producer
I
in
love
movies
that.
or in audio or music is somebody that is looking out for the best possible end product and willing to confront people and be blunt about, I think this
make
is
you
wrong
better
and this could
even
be
if you
better
don't
if we
wanna
do
be.
it this way. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to talking to him again. He's a great guy, fun. I can't wait to hear him laugh. That's the whole point of the podcast, I think. But a really storied and successful run in music that is only still growing as he goes. So looking forward to Darrin Vincent on the Acoustic Shop Knows Darrin Vincent podcast.
Darrin, welcome to the Acoustic Shop Knows People. Today we know Darrin Vincent.
Boy, howdy, do you know Darrin Vincent?
And how do we know Darrin?
It is so good to have you on the podcast here today.
This reminds me of an interview we did about 15 years ago at the IBMA booth.
Yeah.
We had our little couch set up. We had a mock living room, not unlike this one too much. We've come a little ways.
Are you saying this is not a living room
we
chair?
had to print up background wallpaper
on an
a
inkjet.
It wasn't even inkjet. It was like the old ones that had the tabs on the side, like a dot matrix. And sat Darrin in front of that and asked him. It was a great interview, though. We got
It was probably one of the best we've
insight, and this was right when you were starting the band. So that is really cool.
ever done. How long ago has it been, Darrin, since you started Daly and Vincent?
16 years ago.
Really?
That's
Yep.
right when the interview was. 'cause
Yeah.
it was all
That is awesome.
At the end of 2007 is when we started, and I think it was September of 2007 when we did the interview.
Yeah. And then we sliced it
Y'all
up.
set me up.
We got a laugh track in there that's only Darrin laughing. We don't have any questions, just laughter.
So what Jeremy's basically asking for
It was
is
awesome.
for you to give him credit for all of your success.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I mean,
essentially Jeremy
I feel
just
like we launched
fishing.
your career.
Guys, thank you. I owe you a great deal of gratitude. Thank you.
Yeah.
I still think the best part of that interview was when I said, "Who?" And it was, you're trying to be like funny and have fun. And it's like, "Who has more Grammys, you or your sister?" And Darrin just cracked up because at that point she didn't have any, and I didn't realize that. I thought she did, but Darrin had a number of them from the Skaggs years. And
It was pretty good.
I love the sibling rivalry stays
never
alive
goes
and
away.
true.
Yeah. It's good to see that continues like it doesn't happen.
None of
here.
us have Grammys, so
Yeah, we have 0 Grammys. I used to have a Grammy.
no, that's a granny. We had
She
a granny.
passed-
She
she
passed
passed,
away.
Grannies, yeah.
Anyway, Darrin, I actually think we were part of the beginning of that. You were working with Jamie on a gospel project when we were in the studio together. Was that the
For the folks
Genesis?
at home that don't know,
Oh, yeah.
Darrin produced. Was it the Simple Man album
Yeah.
for us? So that was great. We spent a lot of months rehearsing, and then in the studio, Darrin came down to our house and our dad's house that time in Ozark, and spent a good week with us, just going over tunes and really helping us pick apart the way we sing and do all that. So great experience. But yeah, during that time, you were just also working with Jamie on a gospel album.
Our
Yeah, well,
project.
that wasn't the first recording, though. Our very first recording was for Koch Records.
Really?
We did a Christmas Grass Volume 2, and I was very blessed to produce that with Greg Cole. And it had the deal was if I brought Dolly Parton to the CD, that they would give Jamie and myself, or give me a song on the record. And I brought Dolly Parton. She did Christmas Time's Coming. Of course, Russell Moore with and then Doyle Lawson and shoot, I can't think of the other guy's name.
So what you're saying is they only hired you for your power to bring friends, your
connections.
Well, I just got to thinking, we did not negotiate getting Darrin to be our producer enough. We should have said, if you can get Dolly. Now, actually, we somewhat did. We said, if you can get Gary Pachosa.
Yeah.
Gary Pachosa.
And
Yeah.
he did. He
We
got
sort of
that.
had the same kind of deal. Yeah.
We did have the same sort of deal.
Yeah.
We got that. You got Sonia Isaacs on that album.
Yep.
Darrin pulled that happen. We got Neil Capolino to work on that album.
True. Yep.
And we got Darrin to work on that album. Hidden fact, Darrin sang on that album. He got 0 credit for it, but we did have him sing.
I couldn't quite reach that part.
He got like one
Guys,
line.
it was a great record.
It was a great
I'm still
record.
proud of it.
I'm
Yeah.
very proud of it too. But
So
Darrin,
anyway, they gave us a slot on the record. We did Beautiful Star, just duet. And so after we recorded it, I talked at that time. Kirk Brandenburger had a thing called Prime Cuts of Bluegrass,
I remember that.
and he would send it out to 1,000 DJs across the world. It just wasn't the United States; it was across the world. And the cool thing about Prime Cuts of Bluegrass was they would. He had it where the data would come back to him, what was being requested and played. And Jamie and I, he did it every quarter for the whole quarter, that whole 4 or 5 months, whatever it was. He and I were number one on his reports back. And when we seen the data on that it was number one, he and I sit down and talked and said, look, we may ought to think about doing something on our own since people are really reacting to this duet. And so that really kind of focused our mindset towards leaving Doyle Lawson and Ricky Skaggs at the time. We'd really
Because
hit the
both of you
pinnacles
two were working in the 2 different bands. It was you were working with Ricky Skaggs at that time. He was lead singer for Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver.
That's right.
Sorry.
I had been there going on my 11th year, and Jamie was going on his 9th year with Doyle. So anyway, we came to the conclusion that we're going to do our own thing. And so I believe it was the beginning of 2007. He and I both told Ricky and Doyle that we were going to leave at the end of the year. And we had started saving money together separately. Of course, he didn't live close to me, but we found a bank that we both would bank at and we started saving money together, and gave Doyle and Ricky a year's notice that at the end of 2007 that we were going to start our own career. And they were gracious. I think Jamie made it to August, and I made it to November of that year. And then, of course, of December the 29th of 2007 was our debut at the Grand Ole Opry at the Ryman, starting out Darrin Vincent.
Yeah.
That was always something
Great way
I
to
thought
kick
was
it off.
pretty awesome. Darrin, both you and Jamie have been really, really conscious of making sure everything was in the right places, and you did. You got your start at the Opry. Like, that's not a normal position for a lot of beginning bands. Hey, you know what? We're going to debut our thing. It's going to be at the Opry. But,
I'm going to start my political career in the White House.
It's pretty much the same
Bypass
thing.
all the local elections.
I'm not going to bother with that stuff. Yeah. No, it's pretty awesome because, again, those who don't know Darrin, and we know both of them very well, but I really, really know Darrin's work ethic in working in the studio. This guy just goes after things like full teeth.
Very detail oriented.
Yeah, it's not like half-throated kind of situation. It's all the way. So good for you guys. It exploded. Obviously, the beginning of it was very closely tied in with Statler Brothers stuff too, because you guys got tied in with them pretty quick.
Well, that's a really cool story. Don Lott, our manager, he was friends with the head of the music program at Cracker Barrel, and he was trying to get us a record deal with Cracker Barrel because they had, I think at the time, around 600 stores throughout the United States, and they served I don't know how many million people a week. And at the time, they used to have a thing called table toppers, and they would put your face, your name, and all that information on the top of every table, and everybody that came in there would see that.
Yep.
So he thought, man, if we could ever get you in Cracker Barrel, that would be a really big launch to Darrin Vincent, and also get us tied into a corporate relationship.
Sure.
So he pushed it along for a few years. I mean, we never got a yes right off the bat. We didn't get a no. And that was Don Lott's thing. He says, as long as we can just keep nudging this ahead and don't get a no, he said, I think we've got a shot. Well, my sister was doing Bluegrass nights at the Ryman, Springer Mountain Farms. And she put on Russell. We had a 45-minute show. Well, she brought in Russell Moore and cut us down to 15 minutes. And so it's going to be us, Russell, and Rhonda.
Nothing about that sibling
more
situation
civil
at all.
rivalry there, or sibling rivalry. But she did us a huge favor in giving us 15 minutes because in 15 minutes, I think we did 6 songs and got 5 standing ovations that night at the Ryman. We walked out there and did all of the we gave them everything in 15 minutes. Then Cracker Barrel came backstage and said, we have never seen anything like that at the Ryman, and we've been here for I don't know how many years. And they said, if ever you guys want to do anything, Cracker Barrel is open to doing that. And Jamie, before our manager could say anything, Jamie says, I've got a great idea. I want to do a tribute to the Statler Brothers. And the head of the music program said, it's a done deal. Bring it to my office next week, and I want to see what it's about. And
that's awesome.
So my sister had a hand in cinching that deal for us.
There you go. Unintentionally.
It was one of the biggest things we ever did because we've had 6 records, I believe, in Cracker Barrel. Sold almost, I think, over 300 and some thousand copies of Darrin Vincent stuff. So it's been a big deal for us.
So when you started the Statler Brothers program, or that project, that got them involved. Were they aware of it? Did you guys do most of that stuff and then kind of go, by the way, we're doing this, or were they involved?
Are you talking about the Statler Brothers?
Yeah, the brothers themselves. Not really brothers, but
yeah. What we had done is we respectfully went to Don and Harold and Jimmy Fortune and Phil Bosley, excuse me, and asked them if we had their blessings if we did the tribute, because we had I think all written out, and we showed them what we were going to do, and they all unanimously said that would be the coolest thing, and we would be very honored for you to honor us. And so we asked them before we even recorded the very first note.
Very cool. Very cool. That, like you said, Cracker Barrel Records was a pretty big deal for a long period of time. Are they still doing records now, or did that kind of...
They do,
okay.
But it's mostly Gaither, the Gaither music program.
Yeah.
They have their own carousel, and they it's like Cracker Barrel don't service it, but Gaither does their own servicing on their carousels.
Gotcha.
So it's still a big thing. But I think the music program is kind of secondary to the store and to the food. But they're still a huge part of Daly and Vincent.
Good. I didn't know that.
What's your favorite breakfast there?
Yeah.
It used to be. They've changed the name, but it used to be Uncle Herschel's. That was one of my favorites. Yeah, I love it.
Did they change the name? Oh
They did.
man. We have one Cracker Barrel in Springfield. It's all the way to the other north side of town, completely away from me. I don't think I've been to and we don't travel as much as we used to. So
I took the boys when we were camping in Branson a couple weeks ago, and I would just like to bring this up, and I know you know some upper end people there, so I'd like you to bring this up to the management. They're not offering biscuits and grits at the same time. You have to choose your grits as one of your sides, and it's not.
What is this world coming to?
And it's ridiculous.
I know. I'll have a talk with him, Jason.
Okay.
Could you?
I'm curious. Back at like the formation of the group, did either one of you really have the experience leading a band? I know you probably got to experience some of that in the Solid Mountain show. I don't know. Maybe your dad pretty much ran the band. You guys just kind of went along. Did you guys? You were always kind of. Sidemen, not just in a negative way, but not the ones that are making the phone calls or getting the management or booking the festivals. Did either one of you have any experience with that, or was it just watching Ricky and his team, or Doyle and his team to kind of learn through them?
Jamie had a lot of experience doing that. I knew about the business because, obviously we had a family thing, and I watched Ricky for all those years. Plus, I traveled with John Hartford too for 7 years. Yeah. So I had always been a side man, and I was fine with that. But I paid attention and watched a lot of different things. But Doyle had a heart attack. I don't know if you remember that. But when the Old Brother Where Art Thou came out, that whole year, or I think so many months, Doyle had a heart attack and was off the road. Jamie ran the whole organization. He ran the stage show. He ran the business side of it. And it really gave him an opportunity to dig in on knowing both sides, dealing with management. So he had way more experience in dealing with the day-to-day business of a band because of Doyle's health issues. So he had all that planned out, and of course the experience I had in the studio and things that he really wasn't up on as much as I was. We just basically had we evened each other out. The things I hadn't had experience in, he had. The things he hadn't had experience in, I had. And, of course, the songwriting, and it really worked out well, and that was a real blessing. And to me, he's one of the best front men ever to be on stage. He can talk and just rolls off his tongue. I have a more difficult time of speaking and thinking of things and, thinking ahead on a stage show. But he is brilliant at that. He is one of the best.
There are some people that are just built for that. I cannot say I'm one of, but I agree with you. Jamie is absolutely great at it. I got one of my all-time favorites, Marty Rabin. It just seems like they just walk up on stage and they just
Rhonda
do
pretty
what.
good
And
at it,
Rhonda,
too.
there's just people that are built to do this kind of thing. It's a different skill set. It absolutely is.
It is.
It's pretty awesome.
But
I can't think of his name, and it's going to be embarrassing on this thing, but the Dry Branch Fire Squad, the Manlin player.
Ron.
Ron.
Yeah.
He is absolutely a genius at running a stage show, I think. He's got stories. He knows. There's an art to that, and he's one of the best.
We used to get people that would yell out, quit talk or shut up and play some music, that sort of thing. And his is almost the opposite, like quit playing music and tell more stories. People just wanted to hear him talk. And we're just kind of like, this isn't going anywhere, but people are hanging on every word he's saying.
Yeah,
there's a genius.
Yeah. I also have to point out they also told us to quit playing more often than even to shut up.
Quit talking and playing.
Quit talking and playing. Can we please see the headline act now?
Can you go back to a music store or something?
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
Leave the vicinity.
That's not true.
It's somewhat true. Anyway, so Darrin, for those people who don't know the background of Darrin Vincent, and we'll get more into Daly and Vincent as well. I want to talk talk more about that. But you've got a very long career in bluegrass and acoustic music. It's country music. It's been all over. And that's created this absolutely, like you said, you have the Rolodex of just about everybody in the industry. You've worked with multi-Grammy winning artist and a multi-instrumentalist. I don't think a lot of people understand that as much as some of us who've worked with you in the past.
And to continue to brag on Darrin, one of the greatest vocalists in the industry.
I agree.
Blends with everybody and anybody.
This is my one absolute skill that I don't think anybody in the world can touch Darrin on, and I know he loves it when we all talk about this, but nobody can blend with everybody the way Darrin can. And that's an absolutely crazy skill to be able to say, and we've all discussed this, like you somehow can, and it's not even like you change your voice, but your voice somehow just automatically changes to be whatever it needs to be in whatever grouping of vocalists. So anyway, I don't want to embarrass you anymore on that, but I do think that is pretty incredible. But you started out, obviously, Sally Mountain Show, family band, your mom and dad, your brother and your sister, who went on to become something of an entertainer herself.
Loyalty.
She's a struggling artist. Yes.
She's a struggling artist. No, it started as Sally Mountain Show. What year was that? Do you remember? Were you there from the very beginning? Because I know your sister started probably a little bit before you, I would assume.
She did. She's 8 years older than I am. I think she was 3 or 4 when Mom and Dad had the Sally Mountain Show started. And they had a TV show up at northern Missouri, around Kirksville, Missouri. And we were on every Sunday with the Guffies. And Rhonda was a part of that way before I was. And when I grew up 2 and 3 years old, being on TV, and then Dad moved it over, got into it with the KTVO up there, moved to KIRX radio when the TV show quit, and we did a radio show for many years. And so we just grew up playing and singing, and then they went to Marceline, the Frontier Jamboree, and we were on every Saturday night as a family there, and Dad would be a part of that group, and Rhonda and Mom. And so it's like being in the circus. Once you're in, you can't get out of it. But I grew up on stage at 3 or 4 years old. I had my first recordings like Rhonda at a very young age. At 5, I believe, was the very first record I was on. We were talking about this week, somebody up in Vermont. We were up there this weekend, and a guy brought out an album, an LP of, I think I was maybe 13 or 14 years old, and had me autograph it, and Rhonda was going to be there the next day. And so anyway, I told him, I said, my very first recording was when I was 5 years old. And he was just amazed by that. And I think he's probably going to be looking for that record now to try to get that to his collection. But we just grew up doing that until I was, Rhonda went out on her own. I believe I was 19 or 20, something like that. She went out and did her own career. Got in the country music, Giant Records signed her, and of course Clay Walker was the big deal back then when Clay was coming out, and Clint Black had just broke, and Martina McBride, all those people were just breaking into country music, and Rhonda was right in the middle of it. And so when that happened, we kind of stopped doing the family thing. Of course, Mom and Dad were older, and Dad was crippled, and it was becoming harder for us to travel as a family. Sure. And so we just kind of shut that down. And then Rhonda did her own career, and then she and I had a disagreement, and I sold everything I had in Missouri and moved to Nashville and started working with John Hartford. And I worked with him for many years, I think about 7 years. When Roy Husky went with, who was a bass player, went with Emmylou Harris, I think it was the Nash Grass maybe, she started that. When they started that, I took his place with John Hartford. And so traveled with him, and then an opportunity came up. I was out with Jennifer McCarter, the McCarter family. She was opening for Ricky Skaggs for a weekend. And as soon as I got there, Scott Vessel had been producing records, in the studio, and Scott had been out with Ricky doing some bluegrass. He said, "Hey, Ricky's looking for a harmony singer. His harmony singer's going with Joe Diffie." He said, "You might want to tell them." It was almost like the very next weekend we were out with Jennifer McCarter. And I went up to Bobby Hicks, who just passed away in 2024, I believe, or this year. I think it was last year. But anyway, I went up to Bobby because I was friends with him. I said, "Hey, I heard that Ricky's looking for a harmony singer. Would you please let him know that I'm available and would love to try out for the position?" And Bobby came back 30 minutes later. He said, "All you have to do is blend with him." And he said, "You got the job." And so talked to Ricky that weekend on Sunday of the show. And the very next week, I believe he's on one of those Music City Tonights or one of those TV shows in Nashville. They did 5 days a week, and I went in there. He and I and Paul got in a little corner, and I think I sang 2 songs, and he said, "Come to my house." He said, "You got the job." That was it.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick. That's a pretty quick audition right there.
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about.
You just
You
know
can blend with anybody. You already got the job as
Yeah.
soon as you said that.
That's right. It's true. And that's kind of where we we hung out before that. We did some shows with you guys with the
We
Sally
grew up
Mountain
watching
show
you guys, and Dad idolized you guys and told us we need to be like you. The whole reason we couldn't play sports was because of your brother breaking his
right.
wrist.
Yeah,
That's
We
right.
could never play.
my dad's like, "Did you see Brian? That's
Yeah,
why you
you're
guys
not
can't
playing
ever play
football."
football." That's right.
That's
okay.
right.
There you go. You used to also be the bus mechanic and driver, almost for every one of those. Did you drive for Ricky too? I would assume.
I was a co-driver for Ricky. It was nice to be in the band, and they didn't have to have somebody else. So there was already a bunch of us on there, maybe 10 people. I can't remember at the time, but the bus was full, and to have an extra driver, it would just been another bunk and another person to have to deal with. So I always kept my CDLs because Mom and I drove our buses. We owned 2 buses as the Sally Mountain Show. So I did do all the mechanic work because my father was disabled. And anyway, when with Ricky and even with John Hartford, I co-drove with him as well. So I kept my CDLs. I still got them today. I help co-drive for our group. We have 2 drivers sometimes, and like coming home last night, so I was late for this interview today. We drove
We weren't going
19
to bring
hours.
it up, but
We had driven 19 hours home, and I was sleepy this morning. So it's a long ways out there, driving.
yeah, absolutely. Wasn't there, and maybe you want to talk about it or not, but you had a fairly significant accident back in the days Sally Mountain Show. Wasn't there some weird freak
Somebody
accident?
threw a water bottle or something.
It's damaged my eye still today.
Is
A
that
lot of
true?
people don't know that.
Yeah.
I think it was the flood of '93 up in Iowa. It had flooded. I think you can go back and look at that, '93. Anyway, all the tri-states when we were living in Missouri, all that was flooded.
I remember.
And
that.
we were coming out of Iowa City, Iowa, and some idiot threw a Mountain Dew bottle, ripped the side of the glass, and put glass in my eye, cut me, cut Sally, and just threw glass all over the bus. And I just started driving. I think it was about 12:30 or 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm so glad I was driving. Mama wasn't, because I don't know. Anyway, I kept it and stopped it, but I couldn't see anything. I was blinded, and I was ignorant back then. I should have went to the hospital, but I didn't. And nowadays, my left eye is damaged because of that glass. The ophthalmologist, or whatever they call them, eye doctor, said that I've got damage in my left eye because of that. So
Wow.
Scary.
Yeah, it was like
I don't think they ever caught the person either.
I think you're going over an underpass or something, and they threw it over the deal. Is that the deal?
No, we were
Okay.
meeting a car. No, they just threw it out the car window.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. Just like that.
Woo.
It blinded me. I mean, I couldn't see anything.
Well, thankfully you were able to keep it under control and
Yeah.
pull it over and get off the side of the road with that.
Man, I ain't talked about that in years.
Yeah, I kind of remembered it happened. I didn't remember all the details, obviously. I had a better story, if you really want to know. But it may not have been right, but it was so great.
John will make up.
I'll
details.
make up my own version of that story if you'd like it. We can sell that to the tabloids. Anyway.
There was a group of nuns crossing the road, and your only choice
gosh.
was to collide with a water bottle.
But one of the things I remember is we talked to, I think, a sheriff up there. We called and said, "Can you try to find this car?" And they really wasn't any help at all.
Sure.
They said, "Look, we got water coming in. We don't have time to deal with this incident," and just really ignored the whole thing. And I remember Rhonda going back months later and telling about that to the sheriff's office. I don't have any idea. I don't remember whatever happened to that, but they really didn't care about a bottle being almost killing a family of 10 at the time.
Sure.
But it was really aggravating, and I'm still injured from this day because of that since '93.
That was a wild year. If you remember that, we were traveling, of course, in that time period in the Midwest quite often, and everything was flooded. I mean, I'm surprised you guys were able to get the bus going half of the places, because seriously, they were shutting down interstates. They were shutting down anything off of an interstate, had sections of it that were shut down throughout this whole area: Iowa, Missouri, Kansas,
Illinois.
Those 2 bridges going to Illinois, you just couldn't even get to them.
Yeah, that was a crazy time.
It's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, so then so I want to know, because my assumption is the John Hartford years, because you went through, well, you kind of brushed over it all. You did go country. You went with Rhonda for quite a bit of time. You're playing electric bass at that time, if I remember right, correct?
Yeah, she was opening for George Jones, Alan Jackson, all those people.
This was a big time. I mean,
It was.
Randy Travis was on the albums,
Yep.
on some of that stuff. Really, really great albums, by the way. If you don't have,
I have
those.
a question.
Some of the
How
best.
big, I never asked you this. How big a hand did you have in producing those records? Were you involved really at all, or just
No, not at that point. Richard Landis, James Stroud. They didn't want to hear me have anything to do with me. It was all Rhonda, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
They were using some of the best players in Nashville. I didn't know them at the time. Now I'm friends with all of them. But it's just amazing. Keeping my mouth shut and letting Rhonda do her own thing was the right thing to do. And I just sat and watched,
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So then you said you went to work with Hartford. I have to assume that had to have been a crazy time. My assumption was at least interesting at all times, at a minimum. So tell me what that was all about those days.
Well, coming
What
from
you can say here, by the way.
Yeah,
in this
I'll say
microphone.
I don't mind talking. What I learned later, being for our family was family, and being out with Hartford, we had Mike Compton on Manlian, myself, and then we had 2 or 3 different bus drivers. But it was a dog eat dog world at that point. You were on your own, and it was a learning experience for me because I'd always have family. We always watch out for each other.
Sure.
Well, that's not the way that the real world is. You have to take care of yourself. But it was sort of a homey thing because John Hartford did take care of us. But it was like you were an employee. But it was interesting being around somebody who'd written one of the, I think it was at the time, and maybe it still is, the second most recorded song in history, which is Gentle on My Mind. He wrote that, and Glenn Campbell made the huge hit on it. Mm-hmm. And it was only second to White Christmas, the most recorded song in history.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So being a part of that, plus he had been with, the Smothers Brothers show, which had Steve Martin as writer. John Hartford was a writer. All these different people. It's like I was thrown into the middle of all these, with John Hartford and learning all this history. And but it was one of the most interesting experiences of my life, being with an entertainer, and he cared about the music. He cared about each stage show. And the thing he was into the most was writing fiddle tunes. He loved to write fiddle tunes. And I remember his work ethic. I'd wake up at 7 or 8 in the morning, and I'd hear him back in the back. He always recorded all of his fiddle rehearsals with a little cassette player. He'd sit back there for 2 or 3 hours playing the fiddle, and then he'd come back up front, put his headphones on, and listen to his 2 or 3 hours rehearsing on the fiddle and try to make it better. So learning that work ethic was really something to see. And another person who did that I remember is Brian Sutton, the great guitar player of today. Mm-hmm. He was. I was in a hotel room with Skaggs. We were all out on the road, and I remember waking up at 9 a.m. listening to a Django Reinhardt guitar riffs through the wall. Well, Brian Sutton was in there. I don't know if he's laying in bed or what he was doing, but he was playing those Django things with his guitar. Most incredible sound you ever hear. Sure. But I always tell my kids, if you love and desire to do better, then you either go to bed with whatever, think about what you need to do going to bed, or wake up the next morning, have your guitar or mandolin or whatever your instrument is. You need to be dedicated to that instrument. John Hartford was, Brian Sutton was. Those are the two that I remember so well. Jimmy Mills is another one, banjo player with Ricky. He would wake up and play banjo. When we go to the venue, he'd be playing banjo all the time. So these genius players that I remember in my lifetime, and Andy Leftwich today is one of those guys. He plays all the time. These guys are just geniuses on this music, and that's one of the work ethics that I've been able to see throughout the years that John Hartford brought. He was my first one seeing that, but it's really, really amazing that they care that much about the music.
Cool.
I'm curious if there's a story or what the story is of the first time that you did get to meet Dolly. Was that with the family band, or was that after?
It was with Rhonda. Carl Jackson had called Rhonda to come down and sing. I forget what the song was now. It's one of those, had all these different artists on. Well, Carl Jackson said, "Hey, come down here come up to Nashville Dolly wants you to sing on a couple of her songs. So at the time, I was Rhonda's driver. I drove her to Nashville, and of course, they sent her a work tape to listen to, and she and I would sing harmony with Dolly all the way down, which was about 9 hours, 500 and some miles from home. So when we got to Nashville, she sang on the song, and she did it so quick. Dolly said, "Would you mind singing on another?" And it was called "I'll Make Your Bed," and Rhonda started singing it, and she says, "You need to have my brother come over and let's just sing it to you." So we got right in her face, Rhonda on one side and me on the other, and started singing harmony to "I'll Make Your Bed," and she absolutely she squeals when she laughs. She says, "Go out there now, go out there." So the engineer got the mics up, and it may have been Gary Pachosa, I don't know. But anyway, they threw the mics up, and she and I went out there and sang it at the same time, "I'll Make Your Bed." I think we did it in like 15, 20 minutes, something like that quick. Wow. And that sold it. So Carl Jackson got Rhonda got me, and it just went right down the line. And Rhonda and I have been on, I think, 13 of her records over the last 30 years.
One of my favorites, we talked about this, it was made our top 5, I think we did 5, was it top 5 albums? Top something in albums. But one of my favorite was the Heart Songs album, the live one.
Yes.
And all of you guys that were on there singing parts and doing that, and I know both of you guys were on there. That was just absolutely incredible stuff.
Well, everybody was on it. Allison Kraus was there. Suzanne Cox, the Cox family. McCurry's, Ronnie and Rob was on it. Carl Jackson. Fiddle player Jimmy Mattingly, he's out with Garth Brooks now. He was on it. Roy Husky Jr. was playing bass. I want to tell you something cool about that. No. Roy Husky, Dolly wanted to do Banks of the Ohio, and wanted a bass singer on it. Well, Roy Husky could sing bass, but he wouldn't do it back where he was playing bass. So, of all the things, one of my most prized possessions, but. Roy asked me to go back and play bass while he came up to front and sang bass with Dolly on the Banks of the Ohio.
That's awesome.
And I've got the copy somewhere. I need to go back and see it. But I'm playing Roy Husky's bass, the backup guy, and he's up there singing with Dolly. It's just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That was such a fantastic album. And, like I said, it's awesome to hear you guys, Rhonda is a great, also part singer too. Obviously, she's a great lead singer and has a lot more character to her voice, which is always awesome. I mean, that's what you really want to see from a lot of lead singers is this a character that nobody else hears, and then the harmony singers that kind of back that up and support it. So you guys have always been a really cool team. You work together well. And then now you have that going on with Jamie, because also a very cool character. But Jamie's also kind of one of those unique type of singers too, that not only is a character lead singer, but also has learned the skill of being able to be a backup singer at the same time. And that's not an insult. I hope that doesn't come off as an insult in any way, shape. But it's a skill. To be honest, I never even tried or attempted, because I had these two guys. You guys know how to sing parts with anybody. They took a lot of lessons with you and various ones. But when I try to sing with other people, that's a whole nother skill, to be able to back off from who you think you want to be.
It's called humility. You got to be.
And I don't have that. I love it.
You got to step back a little bit and not take the lead.
and follow the route. But that's pretty impressive. And, like you said, Jamie is an absolutely incredible lead singer. You're a great lead singer, but both of you have been able to also support each other and be able to back off. So, it is a skill that a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, I got to say my sister's one of the best female vocalists ever. There's Allison, Kraus, and Rhonda, and that's really...
And you've got to work in a band with both
Bluegrass, country, it don't matter what genre you want to put them in. They are two of the best female vocalists ever to come down the pike, in my opinion. They're up there with Patsy Cline and Whitney Houston, all those, Dolly, some of the best. And part singing as well, Allison and Rhonda are great part singers as well. But and Jamie, he can sing any variety of different styles of music and make it fit what we do. It is a gift of the talent. But he works. I was talking about Brian Sutton in Hartford, recording all those and playing and really studying the music as they did. But Jamie also studies vocals. I mean, he listens to everybody sing, and he takes little pieces of like Sinatra and just all types of different genres of music and tries to incorporate that in what he does. And he takes that just as seriously. His vocal is an instrument to him just as much as it is to Brian Sutton or those guys. Mm-hmm. So it's really remarkable to see the little things he takes from different vocals and applies it to him.
I think that's something that needs to be brought up more often for singers. It is too often that I've talked to, especially in our bluegrass genre, which tends to be a little bit more loose, and everybody just there's an attitude of you either have it or you don't kind of situation. And I've never really subscribed to that, whether it's playing, whether it's singing. Obviously, there are people who catch on to concepts faster, move through stuff, but lead singing or singing in general. That skill kind of was brought to my attention by Ray Deaton, who was working with Russell Moore so much with Third Time Out. And when they were producing our albums, gave me that whole idea of this is an art. This is not just being able to just get out there and sing what you want to sing and move, but there's an art. There's studying the lyrics and learning what words actually work best in the phrasing and how you space that kind of stuff out. And you have to learn to practice it as much as you do a guitar or a banjo or whatever it is an instrument. And those who are really great at it spend as much time just practicing singing, learning how to control to move through the notes and get the rolls and the trills and the whatever it is you're wanting to do. That's a skill. It's not I agree that there are some people that just naturally can sing quick, but to really get great at it, those are the ones that study it and have the work ethic. I'm assuming you'll back a lot of that stuff up.
100%. Yeah, the Lord will give you the gift of the tone and the ability. But as far as working on what you just said, the diction, the placement of different notes and different phrasings, that takes some time to think through and work at it. But anyway, the vocal is definitely a skill, just like any other thing. And you look back through the history of all these different music and singing, vocals, the lyric, the songwriting. It's the most important thing. I mean, you've got Bela and of course Chris Steele and Sierra Hall. That's just and Jerry Douglas, just genius players. They sing through their hands, but as far as vocalists go, the phrasing, all that things, everything you just said, John, was exactly right. And you lead vocalists. I mean, it's a different skill set, and I don't have that. I just sing. Just to do, try to give a little different variety to our show. But I feel way more comfortable in supporting the lead singer. That's where I really feel led to do and really my strong suit. But as far as lead vocalist, I have been so blessed to be around Ricky, Rhonda, and now Jamie. Some of the three of the incredible vocalists. And of course, we get to hang around Vince Gill and Dolly and all those kind of people. They're the same thing. They're just geniuses at singing lead and coming up with lyrics, and it's songwriting, placement, all that stuff. It's really important.
It's pretty cool.
There was a time you had a young Allison Kraus playing in the Sully Mountain show when Rhonda wasn't available, right?
She was 14 years old. Yeah, she lived in Champaign, Illinois, and she came out and took Rhonda's place for 6 months. She wore her dresses. Fred, her father, and Allison came out with us for 6 months and took Rhonda's place. It was really cool. She was 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that she was going to become what she is now?
I don't think anybody, nobody can predict that. When You Say Nothing at All came out with the tribute to Keith Whitley, that was a phenomenon.
Yeah,
and it's just like the old Brother Where Art Thou movie. I mean, that's a phenomenon.
Yeah,
but you don't think about I'm going to predict to do that. You don't. And I'll give you another example, not to talk about ourselves, but Rhonda and I grew up in northern Missouri, the second poorest county in Missouri, Schuyler County. Our town was 350 people in Greentop, Missouri, where Mama still lives today. But to have 2 Grand Ole Opry members come out of that little town of 350 people, I was a member in 2017, and she came along, I think 4 or 5 years later, became a member of the Opry. Rhonda and I are the only 2 brother and sister siblings to have 2 separate memberships at the Grand Ole Opry in 100 years' time. So it's very special.
That is very special.
Especially coming from a little town in Missouri like that. So you can't predict that stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk more about the Darrin Vincent, the band. You guys don't go without controversy. There's been you guys have kind of let the music steer where, and we're exaggerating controversy in the bluegrass world. You kind of decided what you wanted to be as a band, and you didn't really let the bluegrass police dictate what was allowed to be done or played. You brought a drum on. You started doing some almost barbershop or more the quartet style singing. I know a lot of the diehard bluegrassers, and I know even in Missouri there was a festival that there was a pretty large disagreement when you brought the drum out on stage. Did you guys just decide we're going to make the music we want to make and we're not going to be told what to do?
In a nicer way, but yes, we didn't. We didn't. We did it. And I think the festival you're talking about is the one Conway, Missouri, where Aaron McDarris has taken that over. Don Day.
Yeah.
He had a thing sort of like Stigma. We're not going to allow electric bass. Well, although Don Day did electric basses, but he did not want any drums on his stage in Conway, Missouri. And anyway, on stage, we were sitting back there. Our drummer was standing there. And we gave him a day's pay. We didn't, say you're not getting paid for today. We paid him like he was on the show. But I had verbally went back and told him, I said, this is the last time we're doing this. If you're a part of our group and you're going to be on stage with us, or we're not going to play the venue. And then I hadn't more said that. And about 10 minutes later, Jamie had announced it on the stage. We've got our drummer in the back, and we're not going to take the stage without him again, because he's a part of our sound and a part of us. He's a brother. It was Bob Mummert. And so after that show, we had a talk with Don. He had already sent in his deposit, because in the music business, legitimate places, I'm saying that, but anyway, normal business practice, you send 50% of your paycheck for the show in advance. So we had gotten his money, and we said, look, Don, we're going to respect you. We're not coming back next year to your show, and we're going to give you the money back. We're friends. Of course, Jamie had a relationship with Don Day for many more years than I did, and we left as friends and just cut it. But some of the people there, some of the other music people, wrote some things and some articles that really cut Jamie and I to the core. And it really hurt my feelings at the time. But what they didn't know was about 4 or 5 months later, they made us Grand Ole Opry members. So I guess the controversy of the music, what we do, and trying to be becoming a member of the Grand Ole Opry, doing pretty much 90% of our own dates without not festivals or not anybody else, just us, and people filling up the venues has really been a blessing to us. It's not being arrogant, but it's just that's the facts of where it is.
You
So
knew
it
the
helped us
sound you
move.
wanted. You knew the sound you
did.
wanted to create, and you stood behind it,
Yep.
and that's what the fans flocked to, or that's what they really
And
appealed
corporate.
to them.
That's right. And what really turned the corner for us was Cracker Barrel getting on board and selling over 100,000 copies of that CD.
Yeah.
We started with a bass singer at that point, and it was in 2009 when the record came out. 2010. That's when we added a drummer and a bass singer, and we've stuck to that. We said we respect bluegrass. We don't try to cram it down your throat, but this is what we do. If you'd like to have us, we're happy to come. If you're not, we're fine with not coming. But my father was another one. He and I had words over it, and he didn't talk to me for a while. He wanted us to come up and do his show, and we do a 90-minute set. We don't do 245s. Well, my father, in that mindset of bluegrass, they always do 2 45-minute sets. You do one of an afternoon and one of an evening. Well, we're wore out by that time, and most people are, but I told my dad, I said, we don't do that anymore. We do a 90-minute show. And he said, well, I'm not going to have you here. Well, the next year he called me and said, will you come to the show? I said, Dad, we'll love to come. But I said, we're doing one 90-minute set. I said, we don't do any other things. He said, I'll have you. And so we turned the corner with my father. And after that, he and I stuck with it. We said, if my father will do it, everybody else is going to do it. So
Sure.
That's kind of where we went with it.
Well, we discussed, and you can speak to this too. We discussed this, I think yesterday too, in a different podcast. But there is a genuineness in art. If you don't have your full heart into what you're doing, it doesn't become anything special. And if you're doing it for the reason of, well, this is the rules that are laid in front of us, and we have to take and tailor what we hear in our heads and what we're doing as artists to being what we think, fits it's not the same thing. It doesn't usually equate to success because you're not able to, be the person that
you're always trying to be what they want you to be,
Yeah.
for one. But it's good to hear how, I always wondered how aware you were of that. And also in the long run, watching where your success is come from, it's good to see that, they come around anyway. Those people that complained, they always want to have that moment of they're betraying us. It happens in Bluegrass. I know you've seen it a million times more than I have.
Allison,
They betrayed us. They, they've ruined what they were, and we don't want anything to do with them. And then a few years later, oh, they're not so bad.
Well, I felt that way with Darrin most of the time.
Well,
I was
I've
like,
been betrayed by Barrett.
he's not so bad.
and then it's like, oh,
Betrayed me so many
okay.
times.
Well, I'm not being arrogant when I say
No.
this, but having Cracker Barrel, having RFD TV, the television show, now Springer Mountain Farms, over here, Springer Mountain Farms, as corporate sponsors, and they get to millions of people. We've had the #1 TV show on RFD TV for the last 2 years on RFD, and the Grand Ole Opry being our production company now for the TV shows. That all equates into more people coming to your show and more people seeing you. And if you that was my father. I mean, when we came and with Rhonda and I, and the whole hillside was packed with people.
Yeah.
And that was the bottom line, is people there to see not only us, but everybody else. So everybody wins.
Yeah.
In that scenario, and it's just corporate sponsorship has helped us turn the corner to just the 245s into the 190, and a lot of people can't do 190-minute show. I mean, that's a long time to hold people's attention.
Yeah.
Certain bands are better for 245-minute shows, but for what we do and the way we design our show, that's what it is. And if you go to a Vince Gill concert, heck, he played for 3 hours the other day. So, these different acts, it just works for different things. And for us, that's what works for us. And we knew it. And we just stuck to our guns. We continue to stick to it today. We still get pushback on a few things. I had this weekend, a guy wanted 245s. And I said, we just don't do that. And we put it in our contracts. And it before we get there. This is what it's going to be. So, and it works out well.
It is very interesting to see it is an evolution of our music, and we see it from the bluegrass side. I don't want to just rap on that kind of that it's that, but I think it's any kind of traditional music or anything that has a legacy of time period. I'm assuming country shows have gone through a massive evolution of what is acceptable, what isn't. We all know that in the music, whether you love it or not. Right now, it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. Right now, I'm in that I like the '90s country stuff, which I remember when that was happening, everybody hated it because it was also the new crap that doesn't belong on the radio. And here we are going back to those deals too. But the evolution does happen, and Ricky Skaggs was a big part of it in the bluegrass world. I remember when he started doing those shows and set up full sound systems that were add-ons to the sound system that was there, and riders and like you said, I think at that time he was doing 70-minute shows, one big
There's
closer.
normally like an hour between the act that was before him while they're setting up.
Yeah,
and people were
45-minute
losing
setup
their
to
mind
an
that
hour.
you had to sit there and wait with no band on stage or an MC talking. It was like unheard of.
Yeah.
And now that stuff makes sense, and it's something that had happened in other genres of music, and I think what I'm basically coming back to, not to rag on it or anything, but I think as us listeners and supporters of something that is kind of small and niche and special, and there is something special about it. We all
Very
know
much.
that. And there's a heritage that needs to be kept there. But we need to be very conscious to not step on our own toes to keep anything from growing.
This is the way it's always been, so it should always be.
You got to really be able to recognize that you can still keep it very special. I mean, again, we're seeing this absolute change of world with artists like Billy Strings coming out here who are selling out arenas and bringing in people. And I had this conversation recently. It's like, well, that's not bluegrass. Well, what do you mean it's not? I listened to it. I was not following. I will be honest with you. I was listening to Billy String stuff. I didn't follow the genre. There was a time period for us. We're so busy with the store. I'm not listening to all the new acts, and that sounds horrible. But I just was busy.
That's reality.
Yeah. And stuff's coming on, and I'm hearing all this talk about this kid Billy Strings and all this stuff, and he's not doing bluegrass. He's ruining the thing that we love. And we were driving home from a festival we just done. Me and Jeremy were, and all of a sudden I'm listening to this new song on here, and I'm listening to it, and I said, "Who's that?" And I look on, there's Billy. That's bluegrass to me. I mean, I don't think it sounds like what Monroe cut or even some of the bands in the 80s and 90s, but I thought it was pretty darn bluegrassy to me. So, anyway, I got off my soapbox. I now remove myself from my soapbox.
Billy's doing a great service to bluegrass right now.
Absolutely.
And he respects Doc Watson. Doc Watson's one of his biggest heroes. You can't get more bluegrass than Doc Watson.
No. Or Larry Sparks. I mean, he's doing Larry Sparks cuts as accurately as any, and Tony Rice cuts. And it's very Stanley Brothers-esque. I agree with you. There's
a lot of cool stuff going on right now. And you talked about the TV show. Tell us a little bit about whose idea was this to put together a TV show. You guys did a little bit more of like almost a variety style, bringing on guest artists. And so how did that come about? And then you guys just finished up wrapping up the newest season, correct?
We did, yeah. At the end of June, we finished up our 9th season on TV. Jamie had the idea, and he always dreamed about. And Statler Brothers was his biggest influences in his life. I think at a time in his life, that music really helped him get through a lot of hard times in his life. And but he loves Don Reed, and they're big buddies. They're all our friends, and Jimmy Fortune. But anyway. Jamie had the idea, and it just, the Lord's timing is wonderful. At the time he had the idea and thought of that up, Gus was looking for a band to sponsor, and Jamie brought up the idea of doing a TV show for Springer Mountain Farms Chicken, and it worked out so well. And that was his idea. And the reason we did it was because of Gus and corporate sponsorship, because of the money. When you do these shows, they're $1 million shows. They're not, a few $100s here and a few $100s there. They're $1 million shows. People have no idea the cost that goes into doing TV. Even the sync license for the music is so expensive.
Music
oh my
performances
gosh.
add so much to that.
Yeah. But, we just finished our June up, and like I said, our 9th season. And the Grand Ole Opry, we're doing it backstage where they did Hee Haw, You Can Be a Star. The Statler Brothers show was cut backstage at the Grand Ole Opry in Studio A. So it's a huge honor to be back, to be a member of the Opry, but then go back where they did Hee Haw and all that in that exact same studio. It's I don't know. It's like going to the Ryman. There's just a certain feel about those places because of the history of the music and what was taken there. And of course, Hee Haw is a phenomenon. People love it still today. It's a wonderful thing.
It's very fun. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you should see our spoof on Hee Haw. It was an incredible, show that we put together.
I'm sure
I'll have to check that out.
I was just going to point out 9 seasons, and we're still waiting for a phone call.
Yeah.
I was going to ask.
Let's point that out.
How much chicken have you eaten since the beginning of the sponsorship? Do you get like a package a week as like a part of it? And then also, I heard the rumor, and I don't know if it's still true. At one time, it was true that Grand Ole Opry members got to eat free at Cracker Barrel. I don't know if they still do that, but I was just thinking, Darrin probably doesn't have to pay for food anymore between chicken and Cracker Barrel.
He's set.
I can't reveal all that, but anyway, yeah. I'm going to take the fifth on all that.
I
want to see your Cracker Barrel card.
I think a special entrance.
I like to say it's Cracker Barrel, the Opry, Springer Mountain Farms. They've been very good partners with us. We've been so blessed.
That is
brilliant. You guys deserve it because you put in the hours, put in the work. Also, just put in the thought and strategy behind the moves that you make. There wasn't a lot of just kind of freewheeling it. Even starting the band and saying we're going to have management in place, we're going to have an agent. Most bands are like, well, let's kind of feel the waters and we'll book a few shows, see how it goes. You guys spent that whole year kind of building up your war chest and deciding who was going to be part of the team, and just a lot of strategy and thought put into every move, and that's paid off in dividends. So obviously very blessed, but kind of also taking control of your own destiny and putting the things in place that can make it work.
Yeah, that's the thing. It didn't come for free either. People want paid to do things, so you have to pay. There's a price you pay, but you know how percentages work. So a lot of people, they just want to get there and just do it for free or whatever. They think it's just luck or whatever. But no, you pay the right people. It costs to do business. So we've spent our fair share of pain, and so thankful we have, because it's worked out in the end for us. We're thankful.
I think that's part of that Vincent code too, because Rhonda does that too. It's just like it's recognizing that this is a business. I wanna say that is another lesson that I think should be, if you're watching this podcast, you're wanting to be a musician, you want to be an entertainer, is recognizing that this is. We all love it. It's fun. It is our souls. It is our life. It is everything that we have grown up, wanting to do for most of us. But the recognition that this is a true business, even when we moved into the music store business, recognizing that it's not just art. It's not just, you can't just go in there and say, all right, I've worked really hard on my skill and I'm going to put it in front of you. And now everything is going to work out and you're going to recognize how much work I put into this by it's not that. There's a business, and it's everything from artist relationships to, like you said, booking agents and talent management and the right team, the right musicians, the right engineers. This is a very expensive business, and you have to invest in it in order to be there. So
you really do. It's investment. That's right.
I thought that was an important lesson. Yeah. All right. Are you going to be able to reveal some of the great guests that we're going to see in this year's season of the Darrin Vincent Show?
I will. I'll try to remember. Emily Ann Roberts will be on.
Very cool.
She's a singing fool, man. Yes. She's so good.
Yep.
Ryan Larkin. You know Ryan?
I don't know if I do.
Oh, my word. You need to know him.
I'm going to find that.
He's an incredible singer and songwriter. Dwayne Allen of the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yep.
We do some special performance with him.
Awesome.
Let's see who else was on. Randy Travis came on to be a part of the show.
Very cool. I saw
we did a tribute to Randy. And, of course, our old manager, or our old company, well, not old, but Conway Entertainment was our booking agency for a few years. And so we got a relationship. And so Tony manages Randy and brought him over. It was really nice. We had a nice visit, and it's just beautiful.
Very, very cool.
Plus being Opry members. Yep. Let me think who else was on. That's only the three I can remember. I can't remember the rest of them.
You have a bunch. I don't.
We did. We had a ton of. A special performance with Rhonda Vincent. Rhonda came on and sang a Christmas song. Jimmy Fortune, T.G. Shepherd and Kelly, Mo Bandy. They're all on the TV thing with the Christmas. I even had the Whites come on, Sharon and Cheryl. Buck just passed away. Mm-hmm. And one of their few performances without their daddy, they're trying to get back into singing again, which they should. Awesome. With Rosie.
Yeah, absolutely. Such
great singers. They came out and sang a Skaggs song with me as well. And I cried because it was so special having Sharon and Cheryl with me. And if a lot of people don't know who the Whites are, they were on the Old Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack and in the movie singing Keep on the Sunny Side. That's the Whites.
Yep.
And they've been such great people. Anyway, that's some of the people that's on there that's
good.
Going to be there.
Looking forward to checking it out. I think that'll be a whole bunch of fun. Again, I want to thank you, Darrin, for letting us wake you up today.
if you want us to be your alarm, we can just Jason call you.
I'll pass, but thank you.
Come at the old hotel where you get the wake up call. You just press the button, have Jason. Could you call me at 11 tomorrow?
Yeah.
We'll schedule a podcast. So we might as well. We did get poor Darrin up today. I have to say it was Jason had it on speakerphone. I love the answer today. Hi, Darrin. Hi. Are you ready? Having any issues? Was that today? That's my favorite line. Whatever. Was that today? Yeah, Darrin, it was today.
Yeah, it's today.
Yeah. Anyway, so
it happened.
No, I have to. Before we do get out of here, Darrin has always been extremely gracious with his time. He's made trips up, and it's always the same thing. We just got in extremely late last night. He went and rented a car last time. They were in Branson. They drove overnight. He got up. up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, rented his own car just to come out and hang out with us. I didn't know he was going to do that. We wouldn't have made you suffer through that so bad. But
It was fun to play with him.
he is absolutely gracious with his time, still to this day. Again, loved working with him. Me and him had some wonderful arguments throughout the years, and they're always, but it's more like brothers, like you just said earlier. We all have the same goal in mind. We were able to talk it out and figure out. In the end, we all learned how to be better, except for Darrin. He already knew how to be better.
It's nothing personal. We just got to make the music better. Yeah,
We're going to work, and it's awesome to have you as a friend and spending the absolute amount of time that you have. Thank you so much for doing it. Anything else you guys need to add to this?
There wasn't enough of the laugh track, so I think we'll insert that in the end.
This is
We're
more
not
serious.
as funny as we used to be.
This is more serious than
Yeah,
it
well,
should
I'm tired today. Well, I just want to say I love you, John, Jeremy, and Jason. You are family to me. I love you guys. I'm so proud of your families. First of all, becoming family men and loving your families and the business you've created. And you've always been in my heart, and I'll always be your brother. And I'm always here if you all ever need anything. And I'm so proud of you, each one of you.
Well, thank you so much.
Same.
Absolutely. Appreciate you so much. Thanks for giving us your time. And guys, it's Darrin Vincent. Look for Darrin Vincent out on the road and also on the TV show, because they're still cranking it out. They're doing exactly what they've been doing, better and better every single year. Thank you so much for continuing to do that. And this was the Acoustic Shop knows.
See, we
Darrin
proved
Vincent.
it. We know Darrin Vincent. We knew him all along. We'll see you, Darrin.
Bye, buddy.
Go
Love
back
you
to,
guys.
go back to bed.
Yeah, go to bed. First, call your wife. She's been trying to get a hold of you.
First call. Bye, guys.
We'll see
Bye,
you.
buddy.
Well, guys, welcome back to an.
Oh, here he
trying this
goes
again?
again.
This is really.
I have
how we're
my
doing
two idiot brothers.
this? Ouch.
Hey,
Wouldn't that be cool? This is
We're
the
both
podcast
idiots?
called Jeremy Chapman and His Idiot Brothers.
start your own podcast.
I
Will
started to tell
will
you
you guys
this.
be guests on it, and
I'll be a guest. I don't care.
we could just do like we did in the intro and ask about who's wearing lounge pants and checking their lawn. Boy, I think I need to sharpen the lawnmower blades.
We
These
didn't
ones are
ask
looking a little
riveting.
You
torn.
know what we didn't do? We didn't ask Darrin. Does he do that now? Does he worry about his yard?
No,
No,
his
his
no
wife
wife
did it.
would mow the lawn. Remember that?
She's
It
out
was
there
bad for his
riding lawn.
allergies.
Yeah.
We recorded a couple tracks from Simple Man at his house, and she was out there mowing the lawn.
Oh, we forgot to talk about that
But-
story. We were at his house recording and
yeah.
got a phone call from our agent saying, "How come you guys aren't in Wisconsin? You're supposed to be on stage." And we're like, "No, that's next week." And it turned out, no, we were in Nashville.
We had studio musicians actually in at Darrin's house cutting tracks, and we just basically
Within
said,
like 3 hours, we were
Bye.
on a plane
Booked a flight.
to Green Bay.
We made the night show.
You did
We
make
did
the
that
second show.
90-minute set that he talked about. We couldn't do 245s.
and I want to point out, no disparaging Darrin for having his wife mow the lawn, because my wife mows my lawn now because I'm tired. I don't like to do it anymore. Now my oldest son does it, but before that,
My wife says she's going to do it until it gets too long, and it's like, I guess I'm doing it.
I still have to mow the hill, but other than that,
Yeah, fun to talk to Darrin again.
love him. The family. I mean, how do you, like he said, out of that small little town, you got Rhonda and him, both Opry members. But how much of the country and bluegrass market they've affected and touched and changed,
The amount of albums that they've sung on, famous.
produced, sung
Artists.
on, changed. I mean, we didn't really go into his involvement in when Rhonda got back into bluegrass and how instrumental he was in producing those records with Rhonda. The two of them. I mean, the greatest blend.
and touring with Rhonda in the country.
Even when she
series.
came back with bluegrass, he did a few gigs with her.
Yeah.
Early on, there he was her bass player again. And they get the dynamic. They get this because they fight and get back
always.
together and fight.
Except, like you said, it led to him selling everything he owns and moving to Nashville. But we normally just kind of get over it 10 minutes later because we're too lazy we don't commit to anything that big.
well, we also just create businesses that stick us together like glue. But
Yeah.
no, honestly, the two of them. How can you become better singers than the two of them together? There's literally nothing.
And like you said,
better
have a
than
bigger
that blend.
impact on a genre of music. And so really fun that we have become good friends with both of them. I don't know if we've been able to get them both in the same room, but I've heard they have been.
I've been in the same room. with
Same.
them.
I know, I'm kidding.
They're actually getting along swimming. Listen, he's had on his TV show. When she was running a TV show, they were on her TV show as well.
They're doing songs.
They're definitely staying tight together. They all just recognize, which we haven't learned yet, is they're
Stay
better
out of each other's way.
Yeah, imagine
they're better in
if
separate
we each had a
businesses.
very successful music store in different states, guys, and we could say out of
we
Springfield,
could
Missouri.
franchise
I'd
I
have
guess.
burnt you down.
No, you guys start your own.
My store would have burnt yours down already.
Your door would have been burnt down, like physically. You would have
Because,
accidentally
yeah.
left something on.
John would have burned ours down because his was a failure and he's jealous.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to another
More like
episode
John would have just burned his down.
Jeremy,
because-
Jeremy'd still be
Watch
trying to
the
suck
Grass
his
Grow
ooze.
with your host,
yeah.
John,
Dad
Jason,
talk.
and Jeremy.
Anyway,
Have you started sharpening your blades yet?
I did. I sharpened mine this week.
See, guys, I did this stuff. Like every week I had to do it.
I had to pull my mower apart. I switched to
No.
my electric mower, guys. I pulled it out there, got out the old grinder, and just was like going to town, getting a nice sharp edge for it.
See, this
Looks
is proof
beautiful.
of never finding joy in your work because my lawnmower squeaks, rattles, the deck does this the whole time. The seat's all broken. I take no pride in anything about lawns or landscaping at all.
If you could
I
turn it
got
to
my-
concrete, you would.
I have my subscription for my lawn fertilizer now, and I'm telling you, I'm in, guys. I'm all the
I
way
was
in.
certified to do all that stuff. I could have sprayed your lawns for you.
You can't. Here's the deal. I ask Jason stuff quite often. I have to say, I do. I like Jason because I know Jason knows
Is this
stuff.
podcast ending?
Yes, it is. And I call him up and I'll say, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And he goes, "I don't know. I didn't do that. It's been like 10 years since I did anything like that. I don't know.
I told you exactly what to buy.
Did I buy it?
No.
Okay, that's all good."
It's
Guys,
easier when it's
thank you for
pre-mixed.
sitting through this. If you have, please like, subscribe, share it with people that might also enjoy lawn care tips.
Please, if you got any lawn care tips, I'll share a picture of my house. You guys can see.
If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please leave a like and subscribe and
a positive review.
A positive review about landscaping. Spotify, same thing, ditto.
Ditto.
Any of your
Same thing.
podcast apps, please do so. If you're listening to this on YouTube,
and watching.
watch it on
Ooh, I
watch it
just
on
realized
YouTube. Watch it on the other
subscription company to sponsor this.
Monday.com. I don't know what it is. It's not Monday.com.
Monday's
Something like
the-
that. Sunday.com.
Sunday.
Something like that.
It's Sunday.
Anyway,
Sunday.
if you're watching this on YouTube, listen to it on podcast app. It's going to help us.
Yeah.
Listen to it both.
You know what?
And then come back and listen
Just
to YouTube again.
put it on play before you go to bed. You can mute it. We want to get those views and listens up. So
You got a friend that doesn't like to get up and change the channel. Just put it on there. Just leave them. Like, see you guys. Bye. Just
see ya, Granny. We'll be home in a few. Or with the dogs. You leave the dogs home. They need
yeah,
something.
we're gonna keep your dogs company. Is
Helps
this
their
ever
anxiety.
gonna end?
Goodbye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take me away.
The Acoustic Shop knows people. Handmade by Trent Pruitt, Hinkley Hinkleston, and Jason Chapman for The Acoustic Shop.
Theme song written and performed by Ofer Koren.
And please remember to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.